to EEI Late Night with KJ on EEI.
The last great Eagles song right there. KJ Late Night, WEEI, part of the WEEI Sports Radio Network. It's kind of cool, Brian, to come in here and play like part of my record collection. Show my diversity.
It's your own flair.
Yeah. My own flair. That's probably one of the few things that crosses generations is the Ric Flair. Woo! Flair is a very accessible guy.
Oh, yeah.
We talk actually quite a bit on Facebook.
Do you?
Yeah, because I found one of his old, what they call house tapes, which is a dark match that didn't make it to television, and it was like him and Jimmy Snuka were tag team partners. He's like, oh, my God, brother, where'd you find that tape? Because nobody would know about it. And so, like, he made me one of his top fans. So I guess in today's social media world, me and Flair are cool.
There you go. Well, next time you're down in Carolina, he's obviously in Charlotte. You could maybe Facebook him again and see what he's up to.
I knew his son, David. What was the girl's name? She used to work at Hooters down in Charlotte. She became a Stacy Keebler.
Oh, yeah.
She used to work at Hooters and used to be a fan of when I worked in Charlotte. I know a lot of those wrestling people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, his daughter went on to have a great career.
Oh, yeah. But I don't even think she was born or she might have been a little girl when I worked in Charlotte. That was a while ago. So there's some interesting stories around the NFL that I'm picking up on. I'm going, this is going to be pretty interesting. So you know the story of Russell Wilson saying, look, I don't want to be traded, but if I do, here are 4 teams that I would be willing to go to. Now, first, let me start by saying Russell Wilson is playing chess, and he's playing it perfectly. His initial statement was, it would be up to the Seahawks if they want to trade me. So he wasn't saying, I demand to be traded, get me out of here, I don't want to be here. He's really leaving that to the pundits. And by putting 4 teams out there, he's really just kind of putting a worm on a hook and throwing it out to see what he can catch. So let's be honest. He doesn't want to go to the Bears. He has no interest in going to the Raiders. Like, really? No. Before I get to that last team he says he wants to go to. He says he wants to go to New Orleans. Yeah, you just saw Drew Brees working out on tape, right? Hey, if he comes for $30 million, I'll come back for $1 million. The Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's why I bring them up. Not because I'm a fan of them, but because from a business perspective, they are the only team more valuable in the NFL than the New England Patriots. And I said yesterday when I was on with KJ and Barrett, that's weird saying my own name in the third person. I guess that goes along with the wrestling. If you want the real deal, check out KJ. Really? Third person. But what Russell Wilson is doing to Jerry Jones is beautiful. See, I have this belief that the reason why Dak Prescott has not received his money, not because he's just a good quarterback, because you're seeing the same thing with Carson Wentz and with Jared Goff, right? Both of those guys are just good quarterbacks, and they're not even with their original teams anymore. I've always believed that Jerry Jones is very hesitant about making Dak Prescott the face of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, you don't need to really pass civics class or know where territories are located in America. I think you see what I'm getting at. So when Russell Wilson says, yeah, and the Dallas Cowboys, well, now he forces Jerry Jones's hands to say, okay, so you're going to just say Russell Wilson is just a good quarterback and not a great one? Do you not make that phone call? So I have friends who are Cowboys fans for years. I even had a relative play one season as a fullback for the Cowboys. So there is some type of knowledge about what goes on with the franchise. But I tell them, I was like, look, if I was the Cowboys, I would just cut bait with this Dak Prescott thing. Just go. They're like, well, who else can we get? Well, Russell Wilson just said, the Cowboys is one team I would go to. And so now Jerry Jones can't wait for Andy Dalton to get better or try and go after Mitch Trubisky. He's got Russell Wilson staring him in the face. This is a chess game. Because now, if you don't sign Dak Prescott and your entire fan base knows that Russell Wilson is available, guess what? You might have to make Russell Wilson the face of your franchise, Jerry. That's why I played that Eagles song. Goodbye to the last of the Hollywood. Goodbye to the last of the Hollywood. Because when Dak Prescott was negotiating his deal about a year ago, you heard a lot of people say, take less money. You'll make more money in endorsements. You'll make that money up in endorsements. Oh, yeah? Have you been to Madison Avenue? I probably shouldn't say this stuff because, Madison Avenue helps kind of allow us to chew food at home. But still, Dallas Cowboys are facing a Madison Avenue issue. And Russell Wilson just put it on Front Street. So, Bears, you would have to give up everything that's good to get him, and then that would make a bad team, and he knows that. So that eliminates them. The Raiders, he's going to go to Vegas. Is there something we don't know in terms of, I'm going to bet, all right, I'm going to put my whole week's check on black.
So you just said something interesting about the Bears.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
They'd have to give up everything that they have is good.
And then what would Russell think about that?
What just happened?
Okay, so why would Deshaun Watson go to the Patriots? How's that any different? What would the Patriots do any differently to get Deshaun Watson?
I think with Bill Belichick, and I know some people are like, you're worshiping the Bill Belichick golden calf, but hear me out. Sometimes pro football players, and even Cam alluded to this in his I Am Athlete podcast, which was football players like to go places where they can really learn the game from masters, right? Like, if I feel like I know more than my coach and this guy's trying to tell me, like, imagine if Adam Gase is your coach. You're going to be like, really? This guy can't recognize a cover two? Like, there's an issue. But if you're like, hey, if you're working for Bill Belichick, you might say to yourself, okay, Bill, you're going to stop underpaying people. That's one. But two, I want to pick your brain because if I could pick your brain, it could lead to me becoming a coach or me becoming a GM. Whatever I need to learn from, I'm learning from the best sponge.
But that's more so for like pending free agents. Deshaun Watson would be a trade acquisition. So if you're the Patriots, why would you want to give up so much to bring in, albeit a phenomenal quarterback, but if you're going to
you just answered
your
it.
System,
you just answered it.
You wouldn't.
Well, I mean, if you get like a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback who's already proven themselves to be one of these once-in-a-lifetime quarterbacks.
Right, but then you'd bring him in for a few years where he would be absolutely wasted, and you're going to pray that he doesn't get injured.
Well, it's kind of like...
And how long would you really have him for? Because he's 27?
Well, no, because you'd have a situation similar to the New Jersey Nets. Well, New York Nets. Like, hey, you got those three guys? Or you got Deshaun Watson? I'm coming. How much does it cost? Don't even worry about it. I want to help rebuild that franchise if I can. So there's the attractiveness of Deshaun Watson being here. Again, I don't think he's
25. My bad.
Well,
so he is young. I mean, he's
right. He's young. You wouldn't have to worry about a quarterback for 10 years, right? So if you stretch that out over time, would you want to keep nickel and diming your way for 10 years, and all of a sudden, what people were doing before the Patriots got good? It wasn't watching Patriots games, that's for sure. Russell Wilson as a Cowboy, and his wife is an R&B singer. Jerry Jones is rolling over in his oil field right now. But he's got to consider it. He's got to consider it. All right, coming up next, the C's and what happened to me last night before the game and how it all ties together. That's next on WEEI Late Night.